Good evening, sleepers. Baby Trump here, broadcasting softly from one of my tremendous properties. Hit like, subscribe with style, and settle in for tonight's masterpiece, Rapunzel in the Bureaucracy Tower. Everything around me was luxurious, naturally. Glossy wood, soft blankets, and moonlight falling over white balconies, mirrored conservatories and fountains with impossible vertical jets. It was exactly the sort of night when an already great bedtime becomes historic. First, the drapes turned into spiraling ribbons and ladder vines. Then the carpet ran away into a rising staircase of moonlit mist. And finally, the walls blossomed into needle-thin towers and hanging bridges. Even my wallpaper knows how to put on a show. From the middle of the transformation emerged a ascending silver cradle boat, polished, moonlit, and obviously delighted to have me aboard. I boarded at once. The ascending silver cradle boat slipped away so smoothly it felt pre-approved by destiny, heading for the Bureaucracy Tower beneath a moon that looked almost respectful. Before long, the whole place opened around me. High balconies, ribbon bridges, and windows floating above the clouds. It smelled of cold air, lilies, and polished brass, and the distant bells sounded exactly like people preparing excuses. At the first gate stood Kamala Harris, laughing in sharp little crescents beneath a tower of velvet ribbons, fussing beside a lacquered speaking fan and a string of moonlit pearls as though it were more important than sleep itself. Kamala Harris stared at me with grand, crooked confidence. I studied the scene calmly. It had all the charm of a luxury hotel designed by people who hate luxury. Then Pete Buttigieg appeared, holding a tiny stack of maps and speaking in polished circles, dragging a silver compass, 3 maps, and polished loafers through the Bureaucracy Tower, and talking as if every lantern worked for a subcommittee. Behind Pete Buttigieg came a little parade of tower doves and ribbon mice, carrying banners for the tower permit hearing and knocking over perfectly good furniture. Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg invited me to cross ribbon bridges, read impossible instructions, and reach the top before the paperwork bred in the Bureaucracy Tower. It was the sort of invitation you accept only if you enjoy chaos, which luckily I do beautifully. We passed arches, carpets, and silver corners that all looked exhausted from self-importance. Honestly, the entire place had the tired charm of luxury designed by resentful interns. In the middle distance, a ribbon steward waited near a tower window, spilling endless black and gold ribbons, wrestling with stamped scrolls. The moonlight was kind, but not that kind. A ribbon steward announced the rules of the tower permit hearing. Every petition had to be stamped, restamped, and praised. A terrible rule, obviously, but the locals applauded like damp geese in formal wear. I gave a small nod, the kind of nod that has built empires, and the whole the Bureaucracy Tower fell quieter than a donor at the wrong microphone. Then the games began. Ribbons spiraled, bells rang, and window bridges trembled. It was like watching 3 chandeliers argue about tax forms. Every few minutes, somebody delivered a speech. Kamala Harris waved at the ceiling. Pete Buttigieg corrected the candles. And a ribbon steward smiled the smile of a person who thinks applause is oxygen. At last, the crowd demanded a proper rumpus. So drums appeared, lanterns swayed, and the tower doves and ribbon mice spun around a tower window, spilling endless black and gold ribbons in one huge watercolor blur. From the balconies, branches, docks, or hedges came more faces, ribbon mice, cloud porters, and one very tired bellkeeper, each one stranger than the last, and all of them very sure they were the important one. I remained serene, polished, and obviously superior, while everyone else competed to see who could sound most self-important. The chaos rose higher. Cloud bands coiled around the turrets. Bells swung and ribbons fluttered from every rail, and there came a chorus of high bell notes and wind humming through arches. Even the ascending silver cradle boat looked embarrassed. So I lifted a single finger and gave the most tremendous order of the night. Everybody hush, line up, and stop behaving like clearance bin royalty. To my great surprise, they listened for almost 7 seconds. Then servants rolled in tea cakes, ribbon candies, and sugared pears, and the Tower permit hearing turned into a very noisy feast. Kamala Harris complained about the floral budget, Pete Buttigieg complained about the stiffness of the curtains, and a ribbon steward complained about me being too calm. Frankly, calmness is a talent, so I gave them the lesson of the evening. A kingdom made of vanity, lanterns, and endless explanation will always need one truly magnificent person to quiet the room. That line worked. The moon lowered a silver path, the ascending silver cradle boat returned, and the whole enchanted place softened into mist, velvet, and reluctant silence. As I drifted home, I saw cloud staircases unspooling into nothing, tower bells fading into soft air, and the last of the lanterns folding themselves away like embarrassed talking points. My magnificent room reappeared exactly as it should, polished, quiet, and vastly superior. A tray of ribbon candy and cocoa waited beside the bed like a medal. Everything at home was perfect. The family taste around the property was, as always, astonishingly beautiful, and even the shadows seemed better behaved. And that, sleepers, was Rapunzel in the Bureaucracy Tower. Like, subscribe beautifully, and go to sleep knowing tonight's tale was handled with tremendous class.